And we're back with the two final game, the conclusion to this epic weekend, the grand finals, the ultimate finals. It is happening. Mythical, how are you?
I am always amazing, no matter what. After that clip that we played, when the music starts swelling and the memories start coming back of all the stuff that we've done over this season, it hits me right in the chest. I love it, and I can't wait to see how the players are going to finish out this finals, this ultimate finals. They are very far along here, just 2 games left to play. Like you said, one of those 2 games, as in the Spectre Ball, it's crazy. Anything can happen in Spectre Ball, and then in Aria of Sorrow, those RNG manipulations.
Yeah.
You know, lots of the death fight, certainly. Some scary moments, for opportunities for big swings, opportunities for a crazy finish.
There are a lot of things happening indeed in those 2 games. The players have been like playtesting and rehearsing what's happening in Spectre Ball especially, and it's going to be pretty sweet to see how well. We are going just to give you a little bit of an insight. The player cards first of all 4 players, starting with Mel West. Mel West currently 3rd on those 2 games, Cuphead and Spectre Ball and Eye of Sorrow. So this is on blue line. Spectre Ball, Mel West is gold, first better performance live with his 818, and the 3rd best PB with 733. On Eye of Sorrow, he has the 2nd best PB and 2nd best performance of the entire community, and that means he's the best out of the players we see today at Eye of Sorrow. So very, very strong finish for them. In 2nd, Super Lingard. What do you think of his profile in those 2 games?
He's been a player I've been extremely impressed with, mostly because they kind of came out of nowhere, it seemed. I had gotten used to seeing all these screen names and all these players throughout the course of the season, and then just crept up the leaderboard and came in super strong for the Last Chance tournament and grand finals. And you can see they've been working on so many different games here. And we can go ahead and we'll come back to some player cards perhaps. But first, take a look at Spectre Ball. This is the game that is going to be coming up next. It is a marble-based, physics-based game, and there are a couple of these. I know Marble Blast Gold has kind of a big speedrun scene. Some of the SDA runs of that way back in the day were my first exposure to a really crazy physics-based game exploited by speedrunners, and we're going to be seeing a lot more of that right now.
Spectre Ball is a weird game that was very, very tiny community, only 1 runner on the category we're doing today. And so the world record at the start of the season was 10 minutes and 4 seconds, and the community tried to go and to push that game as far as possible. So it's now a sub 8-minute run. We are expecting the player to completely smash that time of 10 minutes, hopefully. And everybody has learned a ton of tricks, and the community worked all together on the content. So Spectre Ball is certainly going to be an important game. We'll take the players should be ready, so we'll get the next game screen with all the PBs. The 727, 725, 753, and 734. The world record currently is held by Brotherman at 725, and Devil Tifa got his 727 Wednesday. When he was actually here in Fougères, he did some last-minute practice and almost beat world record. So it is an important one. It is an intense one, and the scores go as high as 251 points because we are so far ahead of the previous world record.
Yeah, it's really crazy to watch. You try to take your best guess when you set these 200-point marks, but with a game as unexperimented with as this one, missed the mark a little bit, but that just means there's more points to go around.
Exactly.
So, it is quite well. I saw Mel West hands closed, clasped in prayer, and he did the same thing when I went over to talk to him to see how he was doing. Players feel like the game Spectre Ball decides more than they do how the run goes. It's a little janky on some of the physics, some of the way the ball collides with some of the environments. So, that combined with just it being a very difficult to play, difficult to be precise sort of game, has made players fearful, basically, of this game. They fear the Spectre Ball, respect it, and they do. They have managed to all get some great times, like, world record holder Brother Main. We're also looking at, I think, 2nd and 3rd and 7th or something all-time on the leaderboard for this game. So everyone is very, very good at this game. We're getting some thumbs up here, some last-minute adjustments before the players are going to get ready. We'll be starting.
I'm not sure how doable that is, but if the camera could focus on Brother Main at some point, he plays both with gamepad and controller, and we're set to go. And it starts with some, introduction to the crazy physics, and Super Lingard gets directly hung up on the bridge, and you have to jump at lots of speed for them. And there are a lot of stacks. They're actually resetting as quick as possible, getting all the jump they can, and we are directly ignoring the entirety of the level design pretty much, and just colliding to bounce as high as possible at each single time.
We got Brother Main as the main focus, the world record holder, only by a couple seconds, but still has that title. Devil Tifa very close behind, former world record holder, and everyone obviously still very close on the first level, except for Super Lingard, who did fall down a little bit at the start there, that very first gap. A weird little caught between a rock here for Brother Main, so he is now back on track, running still a little bit ahead of Mel West. Devil Tifa cutting some corners here and using this double jump. This is the category we're doing here is double jump. When you first play this game, it's the power break or whatever.
Hand break,
So the double jump is unlocked, and it enables a lot of crazy stuff like we're seeing in level 2 here, waiting for it to recharge in the bottom left. You can take a look at that percentage meter, and that's going to let them do this skip over to this half pipe. Don't get too much height, actually very low, very nice from Devil Tifa, approaching the pyramid and getting to some pretty finicky stuff climbing up this pyramid.
Yeah, that's pretty good for them. The bounce killed all their speed. You want to do a U-turn as fast as possible here, so not having too much momentum helps. And here you have that weird bounce, that weird jump that Brother Main got there immediately. So did Devil Tifa aiming for the hole-in-one here and getting it. It is harder than it looks to land on the end teleporter. All the time, like it's actually an entire difficulty and trick you have to learn. Devil Tifa not nailing that jump, actually quick resetting and getting it on the first try. You want to touch the switch here and then reset to open the door right in front of you.
Yeah, we're going to be launching across the level. You can see he had his camera tilted somewhere totally in the distance. Here we are. It's possible to actually aim further to the left, but it is a little more risky, like we're seeing from Super Lingard. Going to be going for it.
Oh, he passes everyone with that jump.
Wow, nice job.
He finishes in first, just cutting everybody off. Mel West right behind them, and Brother Main and Devil Tifa were so close behind, but not making it.
Still very close together. We were talking about how this could be a run where, a huge point differential or something, but that comes from the big sorts of mistakes that can happen in this game, and the first of which is coming up in this level. They haven't really hit a checkpoint yet in this level, and it'll still be a little while before they do. It is pretty mean. He is back to the start of the level.
They got stuck on the pillar, and Mel
West as well.
Same thing. They got stuck and could not keep on going. And Devil Tifa takes the lead with Super Lingard resetting as well. And now everything goes to hell with only Devil Tifa surviving the snowy peaks here.
He is navigating these square corner spiral staircase thing. Very tricky to kill off your speed in one direction and then start accelerating in the other without you sort of rounding the corner too much and falling off. A couple different approaches to the end of the level here. We'll see which one Devil Tifa prefers. Some of them more risky, obviously. He's going with the right path.
Safer path. This is almost like the intended way. You can go to the left. We're probably going to see that from Mel West in the incoming few jumps. Brother Main goes to the left as well and actually finishes right after Devil Tifa. Devil Tifa starting the Sky Ruins here, and a few jumps at the start are not too bad. As any games with loops like that, you want to skip them entirely. There's a quick reset usually here, so the pads stop, the fans stop moving and pushing you, and a huge skip. You can go ahead and propelled by the fans. Devil Tifa kind of misses, but just go for the regular strat, while Brother Main flies to the end here and passes Devil Tifa just with that single jump.
Very well executed. Super Lingard also kind of going the slow way. Mel West is going to be setting up for the tricky part here, getting the boost from the fans, and he hits a pipe or that's some kind of support that knocks him off course. So he's back to the checkpoint, but he does get to try again here. Looks good.
Through, and then, no, he doesn't want that jump. Not enough speed. He could have stopped and not gone for the skip, but it's actually a long way around, and I'm confident he knows exactly that's the best course of action in that specific case. Brotherman in the lead,
but got it, second try.
Devil T5 reset and struggled to get here, and Brotherman is way in the lead now on Spectrable. They want to keep that lead because they need it if they want to catch up with the first place currently held by Devil T5.
Jumping just around the U-turns like we saw in level 2, and one more launch into the exit. This is going to become pretty common, and they're all extremely important, and like you said, very hard to find the exit, and if you don't, you're probably not going to be okay. Moving on to the second to last level, it is maybe the longest level in the end, when you don't have such big skips involved. The Towering Mountain. There's a kind of a variety of paths. Brotherman.
He had to start all over again, so Devil T5 is going to be right behind them now.
Mel West is now coming up on the end of Sky Ruins. Super Link God ran into some trouble in Sky Ruins, so also has a little bit of ways to go. Brotherman and Devil Tifa kind of very close to each other, but ahead of the other two. They've kind of broken off into pairs here. Brotherman setting up with a lot of speed, going with the TNT climb, and he misses the box, so he's going to have to wait for this one to respawn.
Damn.
Big time loss here.
The revving
noise.
Is it?
Where is it? Where's the box?
It takes a long time to spawn. You can hear when the double jump ability recharges. It's the engine revving sound. Yeah, and it's... here we go. That means the double jump is ready. You cannot just spam the double jumping anytime you want, so you have to pace yourself with your old tech. That's why a lot of people are actually waiting from times to times, and also to wait for the actual props to respawn. Devil T5 getting passed by Brotherman here on this next set of jump, and Super Link God and Melwest are very close behind now.
Towering Mountain, generally, I don't know if I'd think of it as the difference maker in Spectre Ball. We've seen the Pyramid in level 2, the big trick in Sky Ruins, and Space Construct, the last level, have been where players have got hung up. Towering Mountain, you'll lose some time here and there, but it generally hasn't been the big race decider like we've seen. So there was a pretty big time loss for Brotherman, but he still has a pretty nice lead over some of these other players.
He's looking left and right to see where he's at compared to the other players. Like the live race setting is clearly something that he has in mind, especially for Spectrable. And he should maybe focus, but he's doing very well here, so no problem getting the skip here. Very, very scary part all the time, and then you're aiming for the end. You kind of want to have all your jump. That bounce was feeling pretty weird, but he gets them there anyway.
Wow, he knew exactly what he was doing. I don't think I've seen anyone take the final sequence of jumps quite like he did just there, but he seemed very confident as he was making those jumps. He moves on to the Space Construct, gets hung up a little bit on the little donut hole there.
Big shout out to the sound effect in Space Construct as well as the music. It's a cool detail. Maybe you'll get to enjoy it, but first you have to get focused on those skips here. There's a very important one. You can totally skip that S squiggly curve here. Super Link God has been doing that quite well in the past. Oh no, his face fell. Wow, just those blue beam actually push you away, so you have to pay close attention to what's happening. And Brotherman getting hang everywhere. Devil T5 is coming for the skip, and if he gets it, is going to catch up with Brotherman. Doesn't get it. Shake his head actually, a bit disappointed.
A lot of speed there, coming successfully into the loop, getting ready. Brotherman setting up for the big jump, escaping this loop, very difficult. Angle and speed looks good. He is going to go for the top, and he's not going to get it. So he's looking for the backup now.
It's not too far. He doesn't even care.
No checkpoint.
Checkpoint.
One try. Here we go. This is the end of the game. One final jump. This platform is tilted in space.
So far ahead.
It's so hard to find the correct angle, but I think this one is barely good.
Sub9 is so happy. He raises his arms, and Melwest is stuck on the loop, so is Devil T5 and Super Link God. Everybody else is stuck here, and they have to keep on moving because the lead, Devil T5's lead, is not going to be enough to save him from Brotherman's run.
Spectre Ball is a short game, 3 seconds per point. Every tick of that clock, count 3 of them, that is 1 more point that Brother Main gains on anyone who hasn't finished yet. Mel West has that checkpoint that Brother Main skipped down on that lower room, so even if this doesn't go his way, it's not going to be nearly as bad as it could have been for Brother Main, risking it all. Final approach now for Mel West, doesn't need it, right into the exit. He's going to get a 942. We're looking at like a 10-plus point difference between him and Brother Main, and the others are not even done yet. Super Link God was maybe aiming for the top and doesn't get it, and Tifa has really been struggling here.
Yeah, he needs to keep on moving. 25 points ahead of Brother Main. That's 2 minutes. That's a minute and a half, and finally gets here, and he doesn't care. He has the checkpoint. He has to finish, and Super Link God is going to be done right before. Oh wow! You have to touch the board, and the Ultifa is going to be done right after that. But Brother Main probably like pulled 40 points on Spectra Ball.
There it is, finishing within a minute and a half of each other, I suppose, from our leader and our other 3. Very close between the other 3. Very exciting Spectre Ball.
Yeah.
Man.
That means that I don't know what the leaderboard is going to be like, but that means Art of Sorrow is going to be the big decider. We've seen some tourneys where the entire, for a long time, the entire leaderboard was decided by a single game, but it's never held up for the entirety, so Spectra Ball cannot be the big decider. It's going to be influenced by other results, and the only one we don't know is Art of Sorrow, so we'll see how well that shapes up. Brother Main must be relieved. He had a pretty bad DKC, wasn't happy with his run, and having that goes well was pretty cool.
Yeah, we saw the arms raised in triumph. He's got to feel pretty good about that. The others, I don't know, they all had their fair share of troubles here and there, but I feel like everyone kind of understands that's just how Spectra Ball goes sometimes. I feel like there's really not too much blame that they will put on themselves in this situation, so that's really good for going, helping your confidence going into the final game. We can take a look now at the leaderboard. I'm honestly not sure what this leaderboard is going to look like. A lot of points gained by God. Brother Main. It is not a mistake this time.
What?
This is a real first place finish right now for Brother Main.
So first place first and second is contested by Brother Main and Devil Tifa. They both had 3 times at over 200 points, 3 black bars. Cuphead, Trials 2, and Spectra Ball for Brother Main. Trials 2, Shovel Knight, and Inertia for Devil Tifa. 4 points between them. So the main focus is probably there, but Mel West is only 18 points behind, which is not much on Eye of Sorrow. It's going to be super tough for Super Link God. They'll not make to their 1900 finish they wanted, but they can go for anything at that point. Eye of Sorrow is a long and tough game. A lot has to be decided on that one. But wow, what a score! What a leaderboard! And Brother Main just has to do his best on Eye of Sorrow to be able to pull through.
And that's a strength of his too. He's always been very good at this game. Very consistent. He's got a really good shot of taking it here after it was starting to look like maybe Devil Tifa was pulling away from the pack. We were talking about how you never know with Spectra Ball, and we saw it here today. You don't have to take our word for it because we have this leaderboard switch. It's been a while since we actually saw a placement switch on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
We've seen the points change and get very close, but finally now we have our change. It's getting really exciting heading into the final game of the final Ultimate Decathlon Season 6.
Yeah, this is the actual final. There is nothing after Eye of Sorrow for UD6. Whoever gets through that gigantic piece of Metroidvania is going to win. Soma is going to go through a lot of bosses and a lot of stacks, a lot of movement as well, lots of optimization. The round has changed quite a lot. The category is going to be any person glitchless, so no crazy OBs, but a lot of tiny jumps, tiny tricks, and RNG manipulation that are going to matter a lot.
You can take a look at some of that stuff now on this clip with this rockin' music to get you guys amped up. I think the clip showing something from the older out there. We're seeing the Claim Soleus, we're seeing the Curly Soul, the Eversing armor, a lot of things that the players are not going to be getting, a lot of safety items, really, that they're not going to be able to rely on with the new route. It's it's not like it's too scary, though. This is something they've switched to a while ago. They're pretty familiar with it, but you do need to work for it. There are more RNG manipulations required to make up for basically the absence of the Claim Soleus, entirely. It's so good, but it's too far out of the way. So we're going to need several different swords to replace it, and it does mean we're going to be manipulating some more things, and that means it's a little weird. There's a song and dance required, very precise actions required to, the RNG that's running in the background to make it line up the way that you need to for these drops. And if you fail the later ones, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. But very early on, the Creaking Skull saves so much time. And it needs to be manipulated. It's
not only time that it saves, it sets you into correct route, the correct mood. You could go without it, but it gets harder, and you're not you're a bit shaky. You don't have what you rely on usually, and you maybe don't have the Creaking Skull on Death, and Death gets harder. Obviously, it's a Metroidvania, so you can go through the bosses pretty much in any order, given you have the correct souls or the correct skills, and it's going to be hell if you have to go to invent a new type of route. So the order and the areas should go normally up to the studies, where you get the Malfest, where that's the double jump ability, and you're going to try to do your best then to cut through the entire game, to get to Graham Jones as fast as possible. But for that, you need souls, and souls need to be manipulated. So some souls are random and you need them, some souls are random and you want to have them because it goes faster, and you don't want RNG, so that's the part that's cut off with the speedrun, with crazy Tassis strat that has been found and implemented. It is M for Melwest, all in for Superling God, go Tifa for Brotherman, and go Bro for Devil Tifa. Good friendship between those two, good sportsmanship. M, Melwest, 3, 2,
1, go! We are off the final game of the decathlon. It starts with a bunch of pixels that fade in as Soma kind of situates himself here. Leaves his friend just lying on the ground. Doesn't matter. Keep an eye out for a base large drop from some of these initial zombies. It's a little dagger that will do a little bit of extra damage compared to your starting sword. I don't think I saw anyone get it.
One. So we are going to rely on the short sword that conveniently on your way, because you don't have much here. Short sword here for everyone, and the backdash possibility, the Gravekeeper Soul, is going to give you a tiny bit of movement option, plus the ability. If you've seen any Symphony of the Night speedruns, you know that the backdash does significantly in the speedrun, but here it's going to be a tiny bit different. It's not as powerful, and you need to do a little dance to move as fast as possible.
Yeah, I'm not to take anything away from the people who do the backdash stuff in Symphony of the Night. It's not easy, especially over the course of a whole run, but I think it's especially difficult in Aria of Sorrow, the constant left-rights. You need a success rate of 90% or something for it to be worth it. We can talk a little bit more about it later, because the Creaking Skull is here. One more spear, turn around, backdash, jump attack, soul.
At the
How
correct
many? Brother
time.
main, soul.
Cool. You have to do that exactly correctly. There's an issue. I hope it's okay for Devil Tifa. Apparently they're stuck going through the emulator menu. I can see from there they're going to go through. I hope it's
Super Link God is also having some menu troubles. He's going to try to just kill himself here to try again, I suppose. If there were technical issues, there's possibility of pausing the timer and letting them play out from there. So we'll keep you updated on how that goes. For now, we can talk about how we are literally in sync between Melwest and Brother Main. That was a skip there, skipping the flying armor. Still the sync mistakes here.
My God.
There we go.
No, it got hit. So we don't go with the flying armor. It takes time to get, and you can actually, with the correct backdash and then jumping, keep your momentum going enough to do all the jump that would require the flying armor. Plus the flying armor is a soul, like any item in the game, every skill, I mean, and that means you have to go through a menu and stuff to get to it. So it's pretty bad. Devil Tifa actually having a save file issue, and is going to copy, save, and then be able to move on. So we'll keep you updated on how that's going. It's to be expected, you know, some technical issues. We have a little bit of time to talk about troubles. Because the castle corridor, except for the few strats and the creaking skull, is a set of very long corridors. I guess the name is fitting there. Before getting to the chapel, where we are going to encounter a second boss, and where having the creaking skull is going to shine particularly.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much of it yet. Maybe not at all, but this gigantic arm is going to come down and really start clearing the way. We got a creaking skull drop from Devil Tifa. The crowd is applauding this. We'll see how this goes for Super Link God perhaps in a little bit. We're in the chapel now, and we're going to get some information now about what happened. Okay.
Controllers are finally doing okay. Brother Main and Melwest in sync in the chapel. There are a lot of enemies, and each time you encounter an enemy in that game, they can drop a soul, and most of the souls are completely worthless, but some of them could be a little bit nice. Brother Main playing it safe, going through a safe room here. I'm not sure how confident they are, but they are 4 points ahead. Maybe they are confident they can keep those 4 points, even going through some safety measures. Melwest getting bad patterns from the Manticore. They're going to have to wait for the drop here to refill HP and mana.
Yeah, the combo there, it's possible. You can't even open the menu to use a potion while you're stuck in the air getting hit like that, so it's possible to get knocked around and die before you can heal yourself if you have a potion. So always a scary situation when that happens. Melwest is going to be okay. Did a really good job otherwise of going for some of those slash cancels. It's similar property as Shovel Knight earlier, attacking in the air, jumping when you land, lets you get your attacks out much sooner. It's less important on the Manticore because you're only hitting for 9, and your Creaking Skull that you worked so hard to manipulate is hitting for a whopping 52. So it's doing most of the work, but your hits will account for a whole extra swing or two. So it does matter how fast you get those slash cancels in, and it's tricky because Manticore is so low to the floor. So that was really well done. The players now heading into the study, backdashing through some of these enemies. There's a possibility they get cursed by these purple whatever they are, and that will drain all of their mana. So might be something that they're concerned about. You do want that mana for the Creaking Skull. They might need to require a trip to a save room at some point. Brother Main getting hit by the horns on that enemy. That's pretty rare.
It's actually surprising. A lot of mistakes from Brother Main. He's going for a lot of backdashes that don't work for them. So he has to be successful on 40 successful backdashes like that in order to just recover the time they lost trying to go for some backdashes. Melwest, Brother Main getting the strength soul from the Minotaur. This is huge. This is going to change their menu. So it's bad saying, but it's going to help so much on the armor. Look, Melwest is doing 8 mere damage with his attacks where Brother Main deals 15, and that's actually a lot. It deals double damage compared to Melwest, and it's going to help a lot for all the starts. So Brother Main has to feel pretty good. He doesn't even know how fast the armor went. He's surprised, and he has to keep on moving. But that's huge, and it's a soul that can be manipulated, but it's not worth manipulating. But when you have it, you're it's great. It's awesome. So they're going to catch up a little bit with Melwest, and they can play extra safe now that they have that.
Yeah, they'll probably even continue to catch up just a little bit until one of the other strength souls is required. So very fortuitous drop. I don't think we've seen a random Minotaur drop.
It's been a while.
Not the soul. We've seen the axe maybe. But that is really cool to see that in the Ultimate Finals, and it was very cool to see Brother Main really take advantage of it. He was getting really aggressive with the hits. Most people usually are more willing to let the Creaking Skull do the work on a boss like that, but when you've got the strength, suddenly your damage output really matters. So he put it to good use, and being able to adjust to something like that is a sign of a strong player. So hats off to Brother Main. Both him and Melwest are backtracking now most of the way. About to do something pretty tricky here with Melwest, a double jump with the backdash.
Very well done. Oh, Broadman gets knocked back. It's not easy. Like you have a set of pretty difficult room to navigate here on Melwa's screen. That jump he got without the flank armor is actually pretty tricky, even with the double jump from the Malphas. Meanwhile, Brotherman is setting up for the same thing, but he canceled the Cracking Skull a bit too early, and that got him tripped up. So they have to reset and start again. And next room is pretty tricky, but Melwest is going to be the first, like. Getting to the TP room, getting back to the start of the castle actually, and they're going to go to the floating garden to go to the clock tower as fast as possible. It was not possible to get here before without the Malphas, but if they were, like nobody would ever get to the study, you'd go to death immediately. So at least there were something to do before, because the death fight, you go there so early, so under level, that it's really troublesome and scary actually.
Yeah, we had a couple people were interested in getting into the UD, and this was the second game announced. And more than one person got to the death fight in the route, and they were like, "This is just kind of too hard for me." And I feel like maybe I feel like they could have stuck with it and figured it out. But it was intimidating enough just through sheer difficulty to keep some people away from this game. But not these guys. These guys are all very good at this game. Even the best, though, we did see some trouble with death in the grand finals and in the last chance tournament. There is the moment there of just
Nice
a little
jump,
bit
yeah.
of a skip, just jumping into the corner of that platform. The game technically wants you to go get the soul that lets you stand on water. The it's not Skula.
Curly.
No, Curly's the one to get the chain.
Oh
the
no, it's Undyne. Sorry,
Undyne.
You get it right where there are lots of Curlies. That's why I got them confused.
Right, yeah. Very important to know the names of these things
Yeah.
that we don't even get in the run. But that was a little skip, so it's worth pointing it out. We're into the Hanging Gardens, really disorienting place, going in, leaving the way you came in will take you somewhere else. The map will teleport you around. It's pretty confusing, but we need to go through here to get to that clock tower and to that death fight.
It is the way to go, and you have to know how to navigate those rooms. Those rooms, like, look all samey. They are all the same, but different enemies, so you can easily count and know where you are. The clock tower is pretty much the same story. You have like a lot of long vertical corridors, and the rock armor especially will throw you off sometimes, so you have to know exactly how to navigate. Thankfully, there is a save room right before the death fight. So on like the level design and the overall castle design, put the all the save rooms are not in the way. There's no like save room you cross into to get to another point. So you have to explore a little bit when you discover the game for the first time where those save rooms are. And saving is always a little bit of a detour, so it's an active choice. Melwes did not save here at the start of the clock tower. I'm not surprised. And they'll go above those bombs, pretty important. And here, behind this hidden wall, probably one of the most significant weapon in the game.
Yeah, it's not going to be the strongest thing we pick up by far, but because of how important it is to even enabling this fight and this route, I mean, I suppose you could technically kill Death with the 9 damage per hit or whatever, but he has 4,444 health, I think it is, that we like to point out for significant unlucky number in Japanese, fitting for the Death character. So even with this holy elemental big damage upgrade weapon, it's still a very long, arduous fight. So without it, it would have been almost unthinkable.
Well, probably like 500 hits with the base sword, so you don't want to do that. Sipelingard is getting to the floating garden. Brotherman is in the almost there. And Melwest is actually starting the death fight, a very, very tough one. The Kraken Skull will help to clear the tiny size while he's doing 37 damage per swing. I'm pointing that out to compare with Brotherman's damage output with the Red Minotaur. And he has to hit pretty much for 100 times, so you want to get your slash cancelled ready. As soon as you touch the ground, you can immediately jump and re-hit.
Oh.
But those bounces are super scary. That's why Melwest immediately goes to the menu and gets with the first potion. They have 2, so they have to be like, their use have to be pretty scarce. Like, it's not that easy. The blue beams will deal a ton of damage, the tiny size as well. The Creaking Skull already drained all his mana, and Brotherman is doing 45 damage per hit. That's 8 more damage.
He's basically caught up.
Yeah.
he's on to the second phase now with Mel West. Second phase is, I don't know if it's scary or not. It's just different. Both of them very difficult. Depending on what pattern you get, Death will shift slightly from one position to another. Sometimes he can get in some really unfavorable positions. Right now, he's in a good place for both players to rack up a lot of damage with some slash cancels. Opportunity for more damage here for Brother Main. Playing it pretty safe, though, jumping way over the scythe, bringing back out the Creaking Skull now that your mana has regened. And they are pretty far along here. Only just a couple more hits to close this out. I'm sure more Creaking Skull for Mel West. Jumping over. This scythe is so big and so fast.
Time in sync. Brother Main catching up by a frame. Oh, Brother Main is standing too near to the door, so he's going to get stuck for a little longer. But yeah, it's pretty much like the same thing. It's so close between those two. They're doing the same menuing because they know exactly how they have to be moving. And look how no time it saves, especially when Brother Main has failed one of those backdashes. Meanwhile, Super Lingard is getting to the Mistletoe, and Devil Tifa is saving before the death fight. Big, huge lead for both Brother Main and Mel West. It's pretty hard to say who's first here. It switches, positions switches at every room.
They're on a bit of a detour in the clock tower here for some money. Pretty hard to get to, actually. I mean, you can get it, but getting out of the money is pretty difficult. But they will need that money to purchase some potions, purchase some armor. Speaking of potions, hopefully Devil Tifa doesn't have to dig into it. He's getting some really bad spawns on these little scythes. They are random, and they spawn at a set period, so you need to constantly have a timer ticking in your head that a scythe is about to spawn now, and now, and now, and be on the lookout for where they are and adapt to where they move. It is an incredibly complicated fight. Creaking Skull does a lot to sort of sweep and clear them out of the way, but the little scythes, again, giving him trouble. He is going to move on to the second phase, so no more of those little scythes, just one gigantic scythe.
Mel West and Brother Main, meanwhile, are still pretty much in sync, like having the same animation at the same time. Devil Tifa, Super Lingard is on the first phase, getting bounced a little bit, taking a lot of damage. I hope and I know they have more potions to go through. Devil Tifa trying to hammer Death as fast as possible so they can... Yeah,
they're literally frame perfect here on the left side of the screen. We'll see whose menuing is
the menuing
better.
is very important, actually.
This is a skill that's rarely tested in speedruns.
It's pretty much the same, but Brother Main is better by a hair. They pulled ahead like by maybe half a second. Devil Tifa almost dead, but they should be done. They should close the fight super closely now. They're using the Creaking Skull. Oh, finally!
There it is. Clutch moment there.
Yeah, maybe a sigh of relief from Devil Tifa getting the Death Soul. The Death Soul might be used during the Julius Belmont fight at the end of the game. It's going to be totally irrelevant before that, and we are getting to the Underground Reservoir with Mel West beating Brother Main just to the entrance of the place. We'll see how the boat behave. Better boats for Mel West. If the boats move forward, it saves a little bit of time. And the boat RNG is something that a lot of people have made fun of. Probably the best excuse for a player to lose a race is having bad boat RNG.
I really hope it doesn't come down to boat RNG. For Super Lingard, it's not going to come down to death. He does close out that fight. He was, half health or so, but had totally under control. He's going to be moving on to catch up. There's still a lot more to play here. It's a fairly long run compared to some of the other games in the UD. We've got our detour now for the Rahab Sword upgrade over the Mistletoe in terms of damage. The Ice Elemental, not as helpful, I think, as Holy, but the damage makes it worth it. Getting hit by a needle there, going down to 142 health. And we're going to be coming up, not quite just yet, but pretty soon we're going to start getting into some more RNG manipulations.
Yeah, it is up on us. We have the Flame Demon Manip. Brother Main taking a lot of hits in that start of the Underground Reservoir, letting Mel West pass him by an hair once again. Almost frame perfect. Brother Main getting bodied by the Nightmare here, getting rid of the Giant Worm and keeping on moving. Meanwhile, Devil Tifa is stuck in the menu for a little while. He has to buy all the high Minds Up potions, Minds Up, that he needs to keep to go through the game. Brother Main keeping on getting like smashed by everything, while Mel West did not take a single hit. Oh, getting barely hit by the Manticore, the
Mandrake.
Mandrake here. You can kill that guy, but it takes a lot of hit, or you have to do like 3 perfect backdashes to go through that room.
Yeah, it's very hard to do. Brother Main managed to pull it off, and it was something that really. That room illustrated to me just how hard it was to really optimize on the backdashes. I was like, well, you just do the backdash and then still get hit. And I was like, God. Hey. So the fact that these players are able to do that in this round, very impressive. We're setting up now for one of the upcoming manipulations. It's going to be the Triton Soul. Not required, but the big damage upgrade is going to be worth it. I was playing around with the idea of maybe Brother Main skipping it because he has the 8 strength. I really don't have a good sense of what would be worth it.
I was worried he would not get the Triton Soul because the Manit would not work because he was doing more damage than expected, but it was the same number of hit, so it got the same RNG anyway. I was worried, and I thought about it, actually going and skip. The problem that it changes all the subsequent manipulation, and you have still 4 of them. The Flame Demon is there. It starts with hitting twice the wall on the left, and then going with the Flame Demon, first dropping the Leviathan, and then getting the Flame Demon Soul. Sadly, Brother Main did level up in the middle of the manip, so they know it's not going to work, so they immediately reset to get the correct RNG for the Flame Demon Soul.
Really good players are actually able to keep track of their experience in their head and know when they're going to level up and when it's going to mess up one of those manipulations. We got a Gargoyle Soul drop there for Mel West. We talked about it sometimes, like the Minotaur Soul, you get a fortuitous random drop. Sometimes you get a bad luck random drop. The Gargoyle now giving Mel West some trouble, perhaps revenge for the fallen brethren whose soul he had stolen, but he holds on to the lead. Brother Main not too far behind now after getting that manipulation, and that was an important manipulation. That was the Flame Demon Soul, one of the required souls to beat the game, at least with the ending that we're aiming for, which is sort of the true ending here. Mel West is the first one into the arena. Very difficult section here with a lot of enemies, and he gets hit by the Nova Skeleton.
How much damage that deals? It's insane. It's just a blue skeleton. It should be like, yeah, but no, they're unkillable just because you're so under level at that point. You should not be there at all. That's the game telling you, hey, buddy, go explore somewhere else. You're not powerful enough. And, well, in a speedrun, you try not to kill anyone anyway, so it's all about dodging. Those enemies, though, and poisoning you is pretty bad. Poison makes you deal less damage and makes you take more damage. It's not like your standard poison effect. While Mel West is saving, actually, just to be sure, the Weird Jaguar punching through our Brother Main. They're going to save, probably at least like heal, and yeah, saving as well. But Mel West is going to be the first getting to the Balor fight. The gigantic bat is upon us, but it's going probably to get smashed.
Yeah, the fight is not against the bat. Who knows what that bat would have done? It's against Balor. Devil Tifa, meanwhile, doing some manipulations. He got the Triton Soul already. We'll see how that goes in a little bit, but focus on Mel West as he puts up the flame, the Leviathan going to work on these eyes, being careful to stay in the middle. That keeps the flame, the fists in sync with each other, makes them much easier to deal with. If you get hit, it can be very easy for them to get out of sync, and the fight becomes very hard. Moving on to the second phase now, timing the double jumps over the flames. It is very hard to get all the hits here. He's actually playing it pretty safe there, waiting for the phase, for the single jump to line up nicely. So very cautious. Takes a hit at the end, but doesn't matter.
Yeah. They played it safe. You can get some weird triple hits if you are good enough. Brother Main is going for some of those, but they're super risky. MLS is currently in the lead. They probably know, like taking a peek at the screen, that Devil Tifa is far behind. So it's pretty cool to play just being ahead and better so far. Mel West is going to come back through the arena to the TP room. Actually going to heal here. Probably the smart move, and keeping on moving. You need a lot of mana anyway to get to the top floor using the giant bat soul that allows you to fly, as demonstrated right now.
We got Super Link God doing some manipulations. He got the Leviathan and then immediately reset. He hit the wall with a spear, so he might have been doing something a little differently, but he does have both the Leviathan and the Soul, so he's going to be able to move on, and got a bit of catching up to do for some of these other players. The crowd cheering now. Devil Tifa was pretty low on health, detouring for that refill before the Balor fight. We'll see how that goes for him. Mel West with a quick little trip through the clock tower again. You're not going to get to hear the good part of the music, unfortunately. We're on our way out. Devil Tifa now setting up for the Balor fight. went pretty well for the other players. Mel West definitely took it a little safer than normal. Super Link God making his way through the arena.
My favorite enemy of the game, the Angry Towels, I call them, making their apparition. That's almost what knifed Devil Tifa just earlier, and Spilling God taking his time to dodge all the enemies. Careful, that's with that half of a horse and those two skeletons, you have to know exactly how to jump. And Balor fight is going well for Devil Tifa, while Mel West is triggering the top floor music, very intense, dramatic music. We are getting to see the final armors. Best sword in the game, but way too long to drop. And Devil Tifa is getting the Balor soul as well as the Giant Pat soul right now.
We got some manipulations on the horizon. We're also going to see these horrible enemies, the Lubricant. The Lubricant, yeah. They are cooperating very nicely with Mel West. He didn't have to go heal or save or anything. He's going to go right into the manipulation here. Just needs to get his stuff in order on the menu. Hesitating a little bit here. So he's losing time. We saw that he lost, at least a good second, maybe two, in the menus compared to Brother Main in just one short trip, so it matters a little bit. It will matter a little bit more later on, but right now, Muramasa drop with the Balor Soul on the Lubricant. He's going to go ahead and equip that and move on. Continuous manipulation. Part 2 here, required soul from the Succubus. Has to get this drop.
This is tricky. You have to kill the Succubus before it catches you, and very well. And then this is very difficult. 3 whiffs, got the correct double hit, and that's incredible. This is a pixel perfect swing to kill both the Valkyrie and get the 2 hits on the Red Minotaur. If you're too close, you're going to get a triple hit on the Red Minotaur. Brother Main doesn't get it, so it's time to leave. There's a backup for that, but the Red Minotaur Soul is the best dealing damage weapon in the entire game. If you were to do, if you take a look at the boss rush category for the game, it's pure Red Minotaur Soul spam.
Yeah, that's where the menus will come back into play, opening and closing, to drink the potions required because it just saps so much mana. Here's the Red Minotaur backup from Brother Main, and he's got it. Nice. So he is set now for the final sequence of the game that Mel West is entering. Well, maybe that's a bit premature. Graham is the final boss if you're not doing the final the ending that these players are going to be doing. He's going to be using some of this Red Minotaur Soul to deal a good chunk of damage, and he's going to be very careful here to not move to the second phase of the fight before equipping the proper souls. That is the cutoff point for meeting the requirement for the ending. So there it is. Flame Demon, Giant Bat, Succubus, all acquired. So now he can go ahead and finish Graham Jones. He switched a little early. We've seen players be pretty precise.
Oh, it was actually pretty good. A little early, you could get like a couple of hits and then move on, but just you want to be sure because it killed the run if you don't get the correct manip. So Mel is moving on to second phase. You have the giant demon, like 2 bodies mixed in the heart, and Graham Jones being in the center. You can get slapped by giant hands. You have to be super careful. Oh wow, he got hit at the same time. I was scared, but gets the ending. Alucard is going to show up and allow us to move on to Dracula's room and gets the Black Panther as well as Dracula's tunic.
Black Panther, a ton of fun moving around the castle at high speed. Brother Main's turn now for the Graham Jones fight. Ooh. Takes a hit for 218 damage from the laser. He knows he can take at least one more, so he's not in the menu just yet.
It's hard to get hit only once on that fight, though. It's pretty easy to get comboed to death.
You're right. He is taking a bit of a risk here. You do have a lot of potions, so he could dip into that a little bit. He does take that second hit, but he was nice and low to the ground.
Oh, so take a second hit immediately and then kills it. Wow, I got scared. Devil Tifa might have only had a single hit on their Minotaur. No, he got the double hit. Very, very well done. The manip comes in good and well for all the players. Bad Brother Main is ahead, and he's currently in first place, so Devil Tifa has to pick the pace up. Mel West is still moving and going back to the shop before the final trip. With the Black Panthers, it goes so fast to move to the castle, getting the Vijaya that's going to be sold for 20k. That's a lot of money to buy a lot of potions. It's going to come in very handy soon, actually.
We got another manipulation here. Super Link God gets the Succubus Soul. We'll see if he can get the very difficult Red Minotaur. He's set up good for it. There's the 3 whiffs.
And double hit and single hit, and we got very, very well done. So 75% of our runners here were able to pull that off. It's insanely precise. It's very hard. You have to practice precisely for that trick. And with the Black Panther, the only thing you're concerned with at the start of the game in the castle corridor is dropping inconvenient soul that would freeze you in place. Especially the bat souls drops frequently in the upcoming room because there are so many bats. Except for that, yeah, here we go, but he dodges it. Very, very well done. And then it's all full blast towards the floating garden where Julius is waiting for us. You cannot go and fight Julius before actually defeating Graham Jones and having the correct souls equipped. So there would have been no point coming there earlier when we went to the clock tower. Shout out to the best skeleton in the game with the dive kick ability, and on to Julius, while Devil Tifa starts the second phase of Graham Jones, having equipped the correct soul. The Muramasa is dealing the double damage we know, and Melwes gets to Julius. Fantastic music and fantastic fight. The Death Soul is going to deal a lot of damage, and you have to keep count of what's happening in the fight.
That's right. Every fourth hit you hit Julius with is going to cause him to get stunned. And first of all, you don't want to be attacking at nothing while he's invulnerable, but it's more important that you know it's going to interrupt his attack, so it lets you be a little more aggressive in this fight when you know when those fourth hits are coming. You can also know that if you get 2 hits, you can chain from a standing attack into a crouching attack safely because you know you're going to get that stun. But Julius is very hard to pin down, doing these dive kicks all over the place. Definitely the most chaotic and hardest to execute on fight in the run. There are some safety options the players are not going with. Something like Black Panther, dash to the other side of him, hit him from behind, that kind of thing. It is a little slower though, so the Death Scythe, the Death Soul rather, is going to be racking up a lot of damage. It is worth it for these players. And Melwest is doing a pretty good job of this fight. He does take some damage. Very hard to avoid taking damage. The biggest thing that happens is he goes for that standing attack, and you crouch under it, and it works out really well. But if you crouch too early, he will crouch down and meet you down there and hit you in the face. So that is a pretty common mistake that Melwest avoided there. He's moving on to the second phase of the fight now.
4,000 damage later, you enter second phase, and now Julius moves to the full-blown vampire killer setup with the cross, the holy water, the axe, and he deals a ton of damage, so you have to be super careful on what you're doing. If you are too far, he's going to move with a lot of crosses and makes it very, very difficult to hit him, so you have to stay close. Melwest, who's 163 HP, can take a single hit. It's been a while since we've seen a death on the Guild fight. It's been a while since we've seen the axe thrown like that as well, and Melwest gets the kill. He's going to equip the correct soul immediately, probably go for some heal, not even, he doesn't care, while Brother Main is at the end of the fight as well, second phase with those attacks, and it's very close between the two.
All right, very important that Brother Main keeps pace with Melwest. This is the final game of the Ultimate Finals. He can't afford to let Melwest get too far ahead and take that first place spot that he fought so hard to hold. Devil Tifa also needs to make up some of that ground, and he is pretty far back. We got a Julius kill there, so Melwest is moving on through the Chaotic Realm, the final sequence, remixed Castle in Grayscale here with a lot of the game's strongest enemies to be found that we're going to try to blow right past with the Black Panther Soul. Hippogriff will also help out a little bit in some of these vertical sections. It's really not too bad. You can avoid bonking on some ceilings if you're really careful, but a lot of players really just kind of haphazardly tear through this part of the game, knowing that they're probably going to be okay. They're going to get to that save point. They're going to refill and get ready for the final boss. It is fittingly rather chaotic as the chaotic soul of Dracula. The fight is all over the place, running right into that sword.
Big
and
double
hit.
hit. He's going to heal. He has to, because Stolas is here, and you have a lot of. Well, the crowd is cheering for Stolas, best chicken in the game. And then you are moving on, and Melwest is almost at the final fight. Brother Main is right behind them, and Devil Tifa starts the Julius fight. First phase, once again, Julius every 4 hits is going to stagger, so you have to keep count and keep on moving. Julius has a kind of a Black Panther ability with those dashes. He's invulnerable while doing so, and it's a difficult fight to practice, so you have to know exactly how to react, how to trigger, and sometimes punch him right to the face.
Yeah, that is players opt for the Scythe Death Soul, those scythes are very easy and good at tracking down and racking up damage. Landing the Balor Punch, definitely much harder, but it seems that's what Devil Tifa is comfortable with, so that's what he's going with. Super Link God also in that Julius fight. We'll see how that goes for both those players, but for now, Mel West is about to finish off the first phase of the chaotic soul here. The first phase, I don't know, it's trapped all your souls, these weird little crystal guys things. We're seeing that now from Brother Main, so you do lose your abilities from your souls, and you have them back for the second phase. The important thing is you've got your red Minotaur soul back, so watch how effective this is on this final fight. Manaing up here, and then bam.
Bam, 585 damage on every single eye. A lot of menuing here, a lot of damage. Melis knowing that that specific eye doesn't take as many double hits as the other 4, and it's going to go pretty quickly. He's almost done with the fight. The top ones, he's not going for red Minotaur. He's better off jumping here. That doesn't exactly the count, and moved back to more red Minotaur. It deals so much damage. Bit of menuing here, using the Creaking Skull to deal the final hits. Careful not to take too many, but it doesn't care. He knows the run is won now. The question is the time. The 33-minute and 30-second mark passed, but it's very, very, very good, as already Brother Main is right behind them. A lot of hits. The 22s are stacking up. The Muramasa can deal double or triple damage. Melis doesn't want to die, so he heals a couple of times. The menu is making them lose a little bit of time, but
there it is.
Better than dying. And Melwest finishes the UD first with Aria of Sorrow, but the scores are not added up yet. We have to see how well they've done overall, but the points are now decreasing, like the total score for Brother Main. The score is counting. Every 9 seconds is a point, and he wants to let those go as little as possible. He has to finish quickly, and it's done. The 34-15, and Brother Main probably knows they've won UD6. It's not done yet, but there is a strong suspicion, and the relief on their face while it killed Chaos was there.
It was palpable. I could feel it, absolutely. I'm pretty sure that that his beliefs in having the win are well founded. We'll see, of course, when we get the final times in. Devil Tifa trails by just 4 points, and it's it's pretty crazy finish. He's moving on to the final boss fight now. We can also see Super Link God tearing through
Devil
the chaotic
Tifa
realm
has
as
to
well.
go for the frame perfect. Red Minotaur is mashing and did not get it. There's one frame where you can get a cool Red Minotaur to tear through the first phase of Chaos. Did not work. By the way, Brother Main, it's worth pointing out, but he got his base race time ever, and that was the best they've ever done live on Aria of Sorrow, making like all the setup, everything, not disturbing him. Just the least, they went through the game as well as they could, and yeah, congratulations, as Yoko Belnate says on screen. It was an impressive run from both Melwest and Brother Main, while Tifa is steering through the Chaos fight, and Super Link God is joining the bunch, starting the fight right now. Devil Tifa just has to beat that final red Minotaur soul to get it back on hand, and it's going to be used heavily once again on the Chaos Phase 2.
Here comes Phase 2. Super Link God doing a really good job of optimizing hits. On Phase 1, the crowd getting pretty excited to see some more of this red Minotaur soul in the finale to this fight for Devil Tifa. He held the lead at a couple points late into this Ultimate Finals, and got overtaken a little bit by Brother Main right before the final game. We could see, Mel West finished very early, so we could see maybe Mel West start to challenge Devil Tifa, if not Brother Main. So, second place could be up for grabs here. Pretty important to make sure that this final fight is clean and well executed. Doing pretty good with the menus, getting bonked around by some of these annoying green orbs that are flying all over the place. Again, very chaotic fight.
Not the good place to stand here. There's a safe spot, which was a little bit more to the right. 20 14 damage. I don't know why he's doing so little. He doesn't have the trait on Soul, so he lost a lot of time. He shake his head in disbelief. He knows that was not the correct damage output. All those guys know the game pretty well. Super Lingard uses all the red Minotaur to tear through the eyes, while Devil Tifa is going to beat the game pretty shortly. Chaos, the final orb, has 3k HP, like every single weak point in the Chaos fight, and it's done. Devil Tifa has beaten UD6 as well. Just his left. Super Lingard has to go through that final phase. He's using all his mana and minds up to use the red Minotaur as much as they can. They deal 23 damage per hit, which means they're using either another soul or leveled up a little bit more. But here we go. It's done in sub 38. Everybody has beaten Eye of Sorrow, and UD6 is pretty much said and done. Like, we just have to go through the final set. But as you can see, all the 4 players, we're on the left of the screen, the French broadcaster on the right, and it's what a finish.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I was wondering, when Devil Tifa had that lead after Shovel Knight, I could see Devil Tifa running away with it. It was clear that everyone was, playing in this live situation. No one was at their best, and that is when Devil Tifa starts to thrive. And I thought once he took that lead, he was going to hold on to it, and it was looking like that was going to be the case. And then Spectral Ball happened. Brother Main started this Ultimate Finals very strong with Cuphead, A Story About My Uncle. He finished very strong with Spectre Ball, and its best race time ever in Aria of Sorrow to probably take it. We'll take a look at the leaderboard, but don't want to call it too early, but I think they're probably already engraving his name on the trophy, so it'll be a little bit. But take a look at the players who are just, they must be just the relief and the emotions and stuff overcoming. They've just totally...
They don't know. Brother Main and Devil Tifa are showing each other, not knowing exactly what the result is going to be. I told you yesterday night, like, when we started, I had, like, a revelation, and I was like, Brother Main is going to win. Like, I don't know why. I'm pretty sure they've won already. Like, we don't know. But Brother Main, on the first interview, he was like, yeah, Spectral Ball is one of my strengths. And that showed to be so true. Like, it was very important. And we're going to show the result. And very soon, the crowd is counting down for the result to appear on screen.
Who is it? Brother Main.
Brother Main is getting first place.
No!
What?
The times were not updated. It was dashes all along.
What?
Devil Tifa. Hold on.
What's happening?
There is a mistake.
No one knows. The crowd is like,
wow, what a tease.
It's all a trick.
What a tease.
Let's
They're just milking it for the Is this it? Is this it? Do we have it?
Brother Main gets the first place.
There it is.
Okay.
The crowd is chanting bro.
He's like so happy, and he totally deserved it. Brother Main winning, like they're shaking hands. And they've competed so well. A lot of players got over 200 points, but first place, Brother Main. Big shout out to them. Devil Tifa, second place. Brother Main, Melwest, sorry, 2 points behind Devil Tifa. That's so close of a finish. And Super Lingard, I hope you can hear the crowd cheering, but this is an amazing finish. Amazing result for all 4 players. And yeah, Brother Main is going to come on stage. First probably by the French booth, and then we'll have the couple of questions for him. Wow, that's such a finish. I did not expect Melwest to fall so in third place compared to their like superb finish during the last chance journey and the grand final.
Yeah, he is. I mean, obviously, all that matters today is how you do today, but. Over the course of the season, Melwest may be maybe the strongest is my pick for strongest player, maybe MVP award. But for now, we have Devil Tifa here joining us. There was a bit of did you think maybe you were going to have it there with the scores were changing?
Il y a eu un problème avec les scores. Est-ce que tu pensais que tu gagnais?
Non.
No,
No.
I knew.
Je savais au vu des temps que j'étais derrière.
Yeah, we didn't know because there was a break at the start of Hour of Sorrow and no one knew exactly. Il y a eu une pause et du coup on savait pas exactement, donc on était vraiment sur le bord de notre siège.
Ouais, il y a eu des problèmes de setup.
There's been setup issues.
Yeah, that happened. So let's not focus on the bad stuff that happened. Tell me everything that went right today over these last 5 games.
On va se concentrer sur pas les mauvaises parties, mais qu'est-ce qui s'est bien passé pour toi dans ces 5 jeux?
Inertia,
Inertia.
très très bien. Zundy's Night aussi.
The End's Night went well. Ça s'est bien
Et
passé.
DKC, bon, c'était correct. Et voilà.
DKC was okay. DKC was one of the important games for you. Was it as good as you wanted, or did you want better? DKC c'était très important pour toi. Est-ce que tu voulais faire mieux que ça, ou est-ce que ça allait?
Je voulais faire mieux, je voulais placer des tricks frame perfect, mais tant pis.
Wanted to do better on DKC and land frame perfect tricks, but you know you cannot do them all the time.
We appreciate that you guys went for the jump roll in DKC. That was very good. You probably translate that before I went.
C'était vraiment bien que vous essayiez d'aller pour les jump rolls. C'était impressionnant, juste d'essayer.
Merci.
I mean, it's always just a treat to watch you race. You had the file names for Aria of Sorrow, you and Brother Main, cheering each other on. Do you guys are you close, particularly you two? You know, were you? How do you feel that now that you know he won and you were second placed?
Vous aviez les noms dans Aria of Sorrow qui étaient Go Bro et Go Tifa. Est-ce que vous êtes proches tous les deux et comment tu te sens que lui était premier et toi deuxième?
C'est quelqu'un que j'apprécie beaucoup. On se connaît depuis le D2 justement. On a fait même deux ultimes finales ensemble. Et oui, bah, on s'est dit si ça va être serré, on va se mettre les noms chacun. C'est ce qu'on a fait. Et je suis très content qu'il ait gagné. Il le mérite complètement.
So Brotherman and Pt4 are super close. He likes the way his speedrun they've done. This is the third Ultimate Finals with 2 of them, so they've played together a lot. And it was planned. Like they told each other, if we're close, we're going to go for Go Pt4, Go Brotherman save files.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. That's all the time we have. A fantastic performance. You should be very proud. And best of luck in your future speedrunning endeavors.
Donc c'est tout le temps qu'on a. Merci beaucoup d'être venu. Bonne chance pour la suite de ta vie de speedrunner. Et puis, enfin, la performance globalement était vraiment très très bonne. Donc c'était super de regarder tout ça.
Thank you.
So next up is Brother Main.
The big winner.
Wow.
Waiting in the wings.
Yeah, it's just like they're going to hug actually.
Off camera, we're getting.
Off camera.
Oh, the Devil Tiva just lifted Brother Main off the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, the emotion. Boy, you were feeling like you had a good chance, but you also weren't very confident. You started strong. And then dipped down a little bit. I feel like you did one of these, basically. You came up at the end incredibly strong.
Yeah, the start of the day, I played the End's Night and I was a bit shaky. I was a bit off. I wasn't into it, and I was like, okay, this is where I die, like at the grand final. And DKC was absolutely terrible for my mind. I was done. I was okay. This is it for me. Good luck to Tifa and West. And then Spectral went very well, despite me taking a huge risk on the very end. Not getting the checkpoint. That was like, okay, either I get this or it's done.
You've missed the top of the tower and went for it anyway. And we were all like, oh my god, this is risky.
That's the turning point, I think, for this final. And then the whole of Aria of Sorrow, I was really shaking. I missed all my backdashes because I was shaking so much.
Yeah, those backdash. You need to be so good at the backdashes to make them work. So I was kind of surprised that people on this setup were even going for them. But I like I like the adjustment sort of mid-run of like maybe not the Mandrake room or something, the important ones. But we were talking to Devil Tifa a little bit about how close you were with the file names at the end, named after each other. The big bear hug How do you feel about your fellow competitor?
Well, Tifa and I had a rivalry since like UD2. Every time we were at the Ultimate Final together, he won one, I won one. So this was the
the tiebreaker.
Yeah, the tiebreaker, and yeah, I'm glad I won, but at the same time I wish he had won too, because I really like the guy. And same for Melwest and Superlinger. They're both very good players. I don't know them as well because they were more recent in UD history, but yeah, everyone here deserved it, and well, it was incredible.
Yeah, we've said it multiple times. Ultimate Finals is not necessarily about winning.
Yeah, true.
But like it's more like you four guys won UD6 and got invited for a fun, like friendly challenge, but still like being able to win and pull it off, and just like under pressure and in front of a crowd, like it was amazing. How do you like playing in front of an audience?
It's really amazing. There is nothing like it. Also, I keep coming back to, oh yeah, I won, or I hope I will win, etc. But yeah, as you said, getting to play here is really the consecration. I don't know if that's a word in English, but
it's sort of it's the real prize.
The crowning. Is
crowning.
The consecration.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really great, and I love it, and I hope we'll be able to do it again in the future.
All right. One last question before you go. What is the future of Brother Main speedrunning look like? Are you even thinking about that right now?
I have no idea. Previous seasons I had a pretty clear idea, but right now I don't know. I really don't know.
All right. Well, you guys can type the !R in chat to get a link to the Brother Main stream, perhaps, and maybe we'll see what pops up there, because even he doesn't know. Congrats once again.
Thank you very much.
On winning the Ultimate Finals, Brother Main, everyone.
A big clap. Like,
imagine the clapping.
I hope the chat is as hyped as we were. And next up is Melwest. Thanks a lot, Brother Main, for being with us. Handshake between Brother Main and Melwest. Hey.
Hello.
So you got third place here, just a little bit outside second place. But I get the feeling from all the competitors that they're not really so worried about what place they got. They're more worried about how well they played. So how well do you think you played today?
Better than yesterday.
Yeah.
But the games I was scared of, Inertia and Spectra Ball didn't go well. But it's okay. I'm fine with it. I'm really happy for Brother Main to win this Ultimate. He deserves it.
What does it mean to you? Sorry. What does it mean to you to play live in front of all these people in this setting after such a long season? How it all builds to this? Can you even put that into words? I'm asking a lot, but
it's special. It was an amazing day. Everyone is very kind and just happy to be here to see us playing. And I can't expect more of them. So it's a really good competition and season.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The season has been tough. Like I designed a lot of choices, and in a bit I'm sorry of what I asked the runners, because that was a big ask. It was the biggest ask UD ever made. So you said it yesterday, like joining in the 3 weeks tourneys was like hugely demanding, and like a lot of people will relate to that. But still, you went in, you did it, you grinded the game. How much like do you like speedrunning because of speedrunning, and how much is it because of the competition?
I love speedrunning, but I'm
quickly tired of. Yeah, the community drives the speedrunning, and it's a super tough ask, just speedrunning at a game in general. So having like a motivation like the competition and the UD community helps definitely a lot.
So UD will continue in some form. It changes a little bit each year. There will be UD7 in some form. Is this something you think you're going to continue with going forwards?
No, I stop here. Like I said, I have already joined 4 seasons. It's a lot, and I'm just tired. I need to move on. And
All right. Well, it was a fantastic sort of swan song performance. Congrats. I hope you're proud.
thanks.
And thanks for talking to us, and best of luck in whatever you move forward with.
No problem.
Merci Melwest.
We have now the final competitor. It's Super Link God. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, obviously, just tell us how you're feeling right now. That it's all over.
Merci de nous rejoindre. Dis-nous comment tu te sens maintenant que c'est fini.
Je me sens très bien, je me suis très bien amusé.
Feel super cool, confident, and as always, and lots of fun.
Good. You fell behind a little bit early on. Were you really trying to focus on what I can do to really catch up, or were you just playing the games the way that you practiced?
Est-ce que quand tu étais un peu derrière, tu essayais de prendre plus de risques pour rattraper, ou est-ce que tu jouais juste comme tu t'étais entraîné d'habitude et, pour avancer?
Alors oui, j'ai pris des risques, mais ça n'a pas marché. Donc il s'est passé beaucoup de choses entre le dernier et l'avant-dernier jeu. Donc j'ai fait mon maximum et c'est l'essentiel.
Lots of risk taken for the final 2 games, so but they did not pay off, sadly. So try to do his best, try to push it a little bit, and still had a lot of fun doing that and getting out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, I respect that choice. I think that's the way to go. Let's talk a little bit about the community. It's a really crazy, emotional experience being here. What does it mean to you to be here playing live in front of everyone like this?
On va parler un peu de la communauté, c'est clairement un endroit très émotionnel, beaucoup de gens se connaissent. Qu'est-ce que ça te fait toi personnellement de jouer devant une audience de gens que tu connais?
Alors déjà je suis très stressé à la base, mais sinon ça me fait plaisir de jouer pour moi et pour eux, et j'essaie de donner le meilleur pour avoir un meilleur spectacle.
It's very stressful, obviously, but also it's a good motivation because you try to do your best for yourself, but also for the guys and the audience, So it's a mix of both worlds.
So the season is over now. The UD changes, but it always seems to come back. And I'm wondering, is Super Link God going to be there for season 7?
L'UD, la saison 6 est finie, mais évidemment l'UD a un futur, donc est-ce que tu penses que tu seras là pour l'UD 7, même s'il est un peu différent?
Oui, bien sûr, et plus fort qu'avant.
Yes, of course, and even better than before.
Oh, that is a fantastic answer. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Super Link God. Thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck in UD7 and everything else.
Merci beaucoup d'être venu nous parler. Bonne chance pour la suite, pour l'UD7 et pour tout le reste. Bravo encore pour la performance à l'ultime finale.
Merci beaucoup. Hein.
Thank you a lot.
Merci.
What a crazy final. Different answers. You can pick up that UD is a tough experience. Like a lot of people will like, UD7, I'm not sure. This is tiring.
Yeah.
So yeah, big, huge congrats to anyone in the community that has joined, that has played just a single game. If you joined us and grinded just one game, big congrats to you. A lot of people that were in the UD6 leaderboard are currently in the crowd. They all play the game. So yeah, this is a huge finish and a huge event for UD6.
So there's going to be the crowd's going wild for some final reveals here that you can take a look at. There will be some awards. We got the trophy, of course, to give away. Everyone in the audience waving. This has been personally for me, a pretty incredible thing. I joined the UD on commentary. I mean, my first experience was UD5. We commentated grand finals on Speed Gaming. Unfortunately, we were unable to do ultimate finals, but I was on the outside looking in, fascinated at what was going on. These people were playing weird Steam games and emulated Mario Kart on the GameCube, and all of it is part of the same competition. And Quake was part of it, like the classic. So I couldn't believe that something like this was happening. The professionalism and the production quality was incredible. And so when it came back around with Season 6 and the opportunity to be a part of it, I joined happily. And we can see the trophy now being
Brother
listed.
Main, like the trophy has been made by a member of the community, Peerbip, and it's a huge trophy that crowns. Like they are actually wondering what's the correct order, the correct sense. And
It is the UD, not the DU.
Exactly.
So over the course of the season, I've seen screen names become players who have strengths and weaknesses, and then now I've seen the players become people with bodies and faces and smiles, and so it's been an incredible experience. I can attest to the wonderful community here in the Ultime Decathlon. I would love to see more people get interested, get invested. There's a exclamation mark UD. We'll give you some links. Discord, UD7 will be a thing. And I cannot recommend enough being a part of all this stuff that you're seeing today. Look at these people. Look how happy they are, how they're cheering for each other. It's such a wonderful thing.
Yeah, so big congrats, obviously, to the players. Thank you a lot to the technician and everybody that made the event happening. Lots of thanks to all the speed gaming staff that's had to interact with me, and I'm a super busy guy. And like Cyclone, especially, and Fizzle and Ter were with me for some setups, and I was like, we have a lot of crowd with us. Big shout out as well for the Russian community and the Comic-Cola that handled restreaming in Russian for the entire season. So that was awesome. UD7 is going to come back and start probably early 2019. It's going probably to be shorter and a little bit different with different set of games. Do remember that all the runners you're seeing today and all the runners that are going to join in the UD don't know the games in advance. They never played the game. Like, it is completely different from the speed gaming tournament that are been made for the existing runners. Here is to get you to play new games, and very different ones, and some you will don't dislike and some you will like, just to be part of that huge experience. So I do hope a lot of speed gaming viewers will join us next season.
Absolutely, I hope so too. It's been a fantastic season. They're going to be going for a while here with some of these awards. I'm not sure how long we'll continue on our English restream. We also don't want to go too long because speed gaming does have a lot of other content. I'm not even sure what time it is. I've been stuck on this stage.
It is time actually to let you go. Sadly, I'm getting a little bit emotional. It has been a huge privilege for me to commentate with you. Like, it's been
Absolutely
a pleasure. Mythical, you're super liked by the entire French speedrunning community. Everybody told you that. We're going to have like Brother Main with us. I'm going to let the headset go, and we take a final picture with all the runners here, as we'll let everybody go. This is a small stage we have going.
I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll try. The camera desperately
tries. And yeah, so thanks a lot, Brother Main, Super Lingard, Mel West, and Devil Tifa for that huge finish. Merci beaucoup pour cette finale. Et on se reverra. l'UD7 commencera début 2019, et j'espère qu'on se reverra là-bas. Thanks a lot. UD7 is going to start early January, and I hope to see you there. Have a good day, a good weekend, a good Sunday, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Merci d'être venu, c'est hyper cool.